All right, okay. Hello. I've been told that I should do a vlog for Project Nomad, which I realised that most of you are probably going to know going into this because I've got no idea how else you'd find this really. Um, okay, I'm Dylan. Uh, I am doing a project called Project Nomad, which I suppose probably clocked from what I just said. Basically, the aim is to be entirely decentralized in my living. Done bits and bobs of it before, spending a couple of months camping and that sort of thing. But the aim here is that I want to be able to work, live, eat, just generally live a fairly normal life without having to have a flat or a house, basically, because that sort of thing really doesn't appeal to me very much. I don't like being stuck in one place. Basically, I get the urge to move quite often. Uh, I won't go into the financial side of it because, quite frankly, it's quite boring. But I've done a fair bit of calculations about it, so I'm pretty confident going into it that my pay will stretch to everything that I need. Um, Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. So the reason I'm doing this video is because a couple of my mates have basically said that it would be a good idea to document it, and I'm kind of inclined to agree, to be honest. I don't know very much about video making, I don't know very much about anything like this, so it's definitely going to start off rough, and I'm sorry to anybody who appreciates good production quality because it's not going to be here. So, initial questions out of the way. I have no medical conditions. The only condition I might be considered to have is memory loss, but that's an entirely different thing, and it doesn't affect this almost at all, which is fantastic. I have been camping and doing outdoorsy stuff since I was a little kid, uh, so at least 10 years at least. Grew up in the middle of an ancient woodland and had no friends, so yeah, it's something I'm very good at, very confident about. And one of the first questions people ask me is, how are you going to defend yourself and how are you going to be safe is the main thing. And yeah, I suppose how are you going to sleep and how are you going to eat kind of comes under that. How are you going to, maintain yourself? Um, Initial questions answered. I am a good cook, luckily. Um, I have spent a lot of time cooking in the wild. In the wild is as much wild as you can get in the UK. Spent a lot of time in Dartmoor, wood fires, alcohol stoves, very brief military experience got me to know the wonders of meal rations. So hopefully I'm not going to be doing too much of that real food, thankfully. Um, yeah, trying to think of other bits. In terms of defending myself, I've been doing Muay Thai and boxing for about 3 years, 4 years, and 6 years respectively. I've competed in both, so in terms of martial arts, I've got quite a good amount of training. Also, well, I'm a longbow archer, uh, swordsman of various disciplines, fencing and historical European martial arts included. I know how to shoot rifles, I know how to shoot crossbows, and I have middling self-taught training in Kali, Eskrima, and some other knife fighting stuff, which I wouldn't be too confident with, but I think you get the idea that I can handle myself, as they say. Um, yeah, uh, so I'm gonna basically do a little video and just precursor what's gonna happen. So yeah, the plan basically, I've got a few different places I need to be at a few different times. Standard adult life stuff, people to see, stuff to do. Um, but in between those times, I work as a construction labourer. At the moment, look, one of these appointments is an interview for a job that I might be doing, so I'll see about that, but I won't. It's not a sure thing yet. So my job is very physical, 9 hour days, typically 6 day weeks. So in terms of being bored, not bothered at all. I'm sure I'll be perfectly fine with the one day a week I've got to myself. But that also means that I can move jobs very easily. A lot of people considering this sort of thing have centralised jobs like factory work, bar work, shop work, etc. I don't like that. My work tends to come in drips and drabs of I'll work for a month or I'll work for a week or what have you, similar sort of things, which and then I'll move on, which is stressful for somebody who lives in a flat, but well, from the looks of it, it's going to lend itself very well to this sort of life because I'll be able to move towards jobs. Things like driving licenses aren't going to matter because I'm going to be able to camp nearby. Okay, right. So I suppose I'll start showing you my stuff then, because everybody does the bloody gear videos or whatever. That shouldn't have happened. Okay, so in terms of sleeping, I have little hammock because I'm a little man. I don't need a very long one. This one is about 1.5 meters long. I just about stick out the end, but with a bivy bag I have a bivy bag and a sleeping bag as well. Sleeping bag is rated to -30. So hammock, bivy bag, sleeping bag, very waterproof, very happy. Underneath that, wool blanket. This thing is about 5 times as old as me, so it's seen some shit, let me tell you. But that's very, very warm. Unfortunately, it's not moisture waterproof, so if it does get wet, it's going to be a bastard to get clear. But I can also use that as a ground mat if I want to, because it's really, really thick and tough. It's old wool. It's from the first decade of the 20th century, I believe. Bloody old, bloody old. Over the top of that, I have a tarp, 3 meters by 3 meters. Typically, I have it in an A-frame over the top of my my hammock. Keeps the wind off, keeps the rain out, and yeah, generally is just pleasant to have over the top. I also experienced, obviously, my limited military training. I bivy bag and basher over the top. So if everything does go to shit, then I can at least sleep on the ground and have that over the top of me, which better than nothing. Not ideal. Not what I'm going to be aiming for. Okay, what else do we do? So, in terms of cooking and warmth, it's going to be these two, which are this, well, how am I going to say this? Stove. On one hand, it can use alcohol, solid alcohol, fuel, and wood, which is fantastic. Very impressed with it so far. Hasn't failed me yet. And this is just a half-litre pot, normal, fairly normal mug type shot. Pardon me. I've got a pan, but I've just used the pan, so I'm not going to show you the pan. Yeah, basically, so it's going to be wood mostly, because obviously on a construction site there's a lot of waste wood, so I'm going to be hopefully making use of a lot of that. With any luck, it will cut down a bit on the amount of wastage that goes to the landfills, because that's a bit of an eco nut. And obviously it's going to be cooking my food and keeping me warm. Underneath the stove I'm going to have, well, I have a fireproof mat basically to stop the embers and that sort of thing going onto the ground, because obviously it's less of a worry in the UK because we've got such wet weather, but in the summer and that sort of thing, nobody wants to see where I've had a fire basically. I operate under the leave no trace stuff, which I think is fairly standard nowadays, but worth saying. What you can see in the background is my clothing. For this trip I have 10 pairs of underwear, 10 pairs of socks, because obviously physical work, going to need it, no two ways about it. I have one vest, I have 2 t-shirts, 2 solid t-shirts, solid colour, very cheap t-shirts that I'm going to be using for work. I have one long sleeve standard shirt and one long sleeve thermal shirt, it's an underlayer. I also have long thermal underwear, which I usually use at work, but whatever I need. And I have one pair of actually army issue combats, which I'm wearing right now, which are massively oversized, but very comfortable, luckily. So that'll be the camp wear. Other than that, I have a pair of hard-wearing work jeans that I'm looking at right now that are absolutely nails, so I'm not worried about them. And a pair of stretch fit jeans for when I see my friends and when I go out, because I'm not going to be a hermit. I am going to go see people, I'm not an idiot. Other than that, I'm looking around and deciding what's important. I have pictures of my friends, pictures of my dog, pictures of my girlfriend, etc. You know, that kind of shit. Nice stuff to have. I have playing cards. I have more Stanley blades. I have, you know, the usual shit. What's unique about my setup? Nothing, really. I feel like this is just a normal camping setup, but most people, well, I suppose most people use a tent. I have army issue smock, which I've recently re-waterproofed. Please don't tell the army I have it, I'm not supposed to. I also have a field cap, which is just in there because I like it and it's comfortable. I have, this is my day sack. I use it for work, and I'm hopefully going to be using it for food shopping when I do that. Old trainers, old shoes, walking shoes, they're brilliant. I also have some waterproof welly steel toe cap type things that I definitely didn't find at work, that are at work, so obviously you're not going to be able to see them. I have a massive modular jacket at work as well, which is waterproof, high vis, and has, like, you know, you can take the arms off, you can add a hood, all that kind of shit. I didn't buy it, I was given it, and I'm just making use of what I've got, basically. Washing. In terms of washing, I use Camelback bag. So these things hold like 2 litres usually. I'm not going to overfill it because that's a really good way for it to not last very long. I've got one of those, and I've got 2 like shaker type bottles which I use for protein shakes. I'm probably only going to take one because they're quite bulky. For washing, basically I'm going to do what I usually do when I camp, which is go to a gym shower when I can, because I've got a gym membership, one of the chain ones that's across the whole country. And when I can't shower there, bar of soap, water, jobs are good. And, like, got no hair, and the beard doesn't exactly need very much TLC. Pardon me. Okay, what else do I have? 2 med kits. Standard med kits, to be honest. Bandages, antiseptics, that sort of stuff. I am trained in the use of both of them, so don't be yelling at me that I'm going to die, like fucking everybody seems to be. What else? Sorry if I seem tired, by the way, I am very tired. Okay, so other than that, I am using this portable speaker. It's bloody brilliant, it's tough as fucking nails, and it's very loud. I'm not going to be using it to play music whilst I'm camping, because that would be very rude to everybody that wants to go and walk their dogs. But it is good for parties, which obviously is going to happen. I use wireless headphones, which I don't have with me because I've left them at work as well, I think. But they've got 8-hour battery life. They cost me a tenner, and to be honest, if they break, I'm not really that bothered. I have a compass, standard compass. I have playing cards. I have a D&D set because I'm a massive geek. I have 2 disposable lighters and 1 infinite match, which my girlfriend got me, but I'm quite happy with it. It's basically one of these that you fill it with surgical spirit, or I've used lighter fluid, and then strike her off the side, and it's a infinite match. Basically, the wick is pull the wick out like a Zippo lighter. What else do I have? I have a solar charger that was a gift that I haven't tried yet, but the person who gave me it said it's really good. I've not got a clue whether it's any good. I've never used a solar charger before, so that remains to be seen. I also have, if I can find it, I don't know where it is, but I have a 30 milliamp power bank, which I can't remember the capacity, but it's quite large. It's got enough in it to recharge my phone probably about 5 times for a full charge, and it takes about 6 hours for a full charge, which is pretty good, all things considered. I've got you can't see it in this, but I've got a 5-meter extension cord, which I'll be using in libraries probably, so that people don't see me charging my stuff, and an adapter for that, obviously, to charge my phone. I have, not entirely sure whether I'm going to be bringing this one, because obviously it looks a bit incriminating. I have a kukri machete, which It has seen some shit, as you can see from the blade. Like, it's all bloody got a chink out of it there. But what I actually use it for is a draw knife, because the inside of this keeps a fantastic edge. And it's very useful for making kindling, especially off of larger bits of wet wood, because you can take the top off and then you've got the dry stuff in the middle. But like I said, it does. I got this when I was a kid because it looked cool. But as I've got older, I've just used it and it's been a fantastic help. So that's quite good. Holds an alright edge. Could be worse. It's what I've got, basically. Got this old axe, which is so bloody old that the head started to come off, but I've tied it back on. I don't know if you can see that. It's about the length of my forearm. It's very good middling size. Not as big as a proper splitting axe, because that would be ridiculously heavy. Not as small as a hatchet, because anything a hatchet can do, that little machete can do. It's basically for splitting larger stuff. Yeah, it's splitting for larger stuff, but I'm not felling trees. I don't want to fell trees, so I'm basically using it to split up larger parts of the scrap wood that I'm getting. Again, not sure how long that's going to last with me, because it does look horrible, and I don't really want... Well, obviously I don't want somebody calling the police because they saw some beardy nutter in the woods with an axe. In terms of knife, I am bringing... If I can find it. There we go. This, which is old now. I think it was Cold Steel Bushmaster or something like that. As you can see, it's been bloody sharpened so many times. It used to be out like that, but yeah, this has been with me for a fucking long time, so I'm very pleased with it. Doesn't hold an edge very well. It's very heavy, but I know how to use it, and as you can see, it's even good as a mallet hammer type thing. Don't know if you can see that there, from pounding steaks in. It's good. I use it as a kitchen knife when I'm at home. It's useful. What else do I have? I have a frying pan, which I don't think I'll probably bring, because frying pans they're quite bulky, not very helpful. I have a multi-tool, Stanley multi-tool, which I can't see, but it's just a little multi-tool pliers type thing. Just good for random shit that I need it for. Got a little Stanley blade, which isn't on me, it'll be at work, which got replacement blades for it, for fine cutting, and obviously for work. Passport, that sort of thing. I have loads of incense. I have a mouth organ, which I'm going to learn to play, hopefully, and a nail and like grooming type set, because that's it's a bit more important than most people think. In here I have various stuff, basically. I've got a really rubbish little penknife, I've got loads of super glue, I've got several hexamine tablets, and lots of matches. I also have some unblocking chewing gum, if you take my meaning from the army, which I hopefully won't need, but you know, here we are. I've also got a little pack of multi-tools there, just in case I need to... Well, I don't know what I'll use them for, but they're useful to have. Okay, books. My books are Electrician's Installation Manual, because I am learning to be an electrician. A Roadside Picnic, because it's one of my favourite books. Card games, because I don't know that many card games and they're fun. And my special book, which I've had 6 years probably, which I just use to keep ideas in. It's got stuff like camp setups, trap setups when I was into snaring, which was a long time ago now. Got local laws written in here, that sort of thing. It's just generally useful. And apparently some other stuff from quite a while ago. I don't know how many of those are going to be coming with me. This definitely will. The card games might not. But the other two are pretty necessary, because obviously, well, I suppose Roadside Picnic isn't, but you know, you need something to do. Okay, bag. Using my big bag, which is 80 litre. It is a proper Berghaus Bergen, if you can see that. I don't know if that's going to reverse it for YouTube, but we'll see. 80 litre main compartment, 2 side compartments, 1 top compartment, another inside here, and it's also got a opening at the arse end so that I can get other stuff out, and straps, well, for strapping stuff. Um, I've had that for about 10-15 years. It was a family gift, which has obviously gone down very well. I don't have massive army boots because I'm not a knob. They're not very useful. They just end up stressing your ankles. So I'm going to be sticking with the trainers, or with hiking shoes, depending on how long the trainers last. Yeah. Long story short, I'm not romantic about this. It's going to probably be quite dirty for quite a while, which is part of the reason why I'm sticking with a skinhead. Set aside a fair bit of money towards things like having good food. One of my biggest worries is that I'm not going to, well, you can't freeze food when you're out there. When you're living in the rain and the mud and the sun, probably in summer. So I'm putting aside a little bit more, I suppose, money. I don't know if you call it budgeting, but basically just an understanding that a lot of my food is going to be fresh, which is good. Obviously, fresh fruit and veg is the best way to have it. Probably not going to be eating very much meat because there's quite a lot of risk of infection, especially if I don't cook it very well. But we'll have to see, because I am a competing martial artist. So if I want to fight, I'm going to have to be strong. Might end up using Huel again, which is that multi-nutrient, whatever the bloody hell it's called, but it's like a shake that is nutritionally complete. So if I end up having some sort of nutrition deficiency, which I've been having recently since I have been eating all the stuff that's left in my cupboards, then I'll probably be getting back on that because it's quite cheap and easy to transport. What else? I'm aware that technically this is illegal. However, I think you'll find that most people don't really care. I'm from a rural place where seeing people camping was very normal. Obviously, in cities it's a bit less normal. But the three ways I'm going to be camping, well, the three ways I'm going to be sleeping are staying with friends, which is been suggested to me a lot more than I was expecting. A lot of people are happy to have me. It seems I'm a bit of an eccentric, so I guess people want me nearby. I'm fine with that. I'll give them strange wisdom in return for a bed. Sleeping on sites, depending on the construction director, depending on the site, obviously, depending on what's going on. At the moment, I've been offered a temporary accommodation on site. It's not legal, it's not official, but it's there. Basically, you can stay on the floor of the canteen a lot of the time, which isn't ideal. It's less comfortable than camping, but if there's a rainstorm coming in, which I am on the south coast right now, I won't tell you exactly where, but on the south coast near Cornwall, and if there's a storm coming in, I don't want to be in the woods, and I don't want to be on Dartmoor or whatever else. I want to be inside, ideally, because obviously those rainstorms generally are followed by a cold snap, which you don't need me to tell you that if you get very wet and then very cold, it's not fun at all. I've had some very bad experiences with that sort of thing. I have no intention of having it again. Yeah, so camping, staying on sites, and staying with friends. I am not going to be doing any illegal wild camping. I'm not going to be breaking into places. I'm not going to be doing anything nefarious like that because, well, I'm not a dick, basically. Public woodland, obviously, you can stay in so long as you're gone fairly quickly. National parks, obviously, you can stay in so long as you're gone fairly quickly. Yeah, just generally public access land I'm going to be staying on. There have been times when I've stayed on private land. I've stayed on a couple of airports, that sort of thing. But I'm not going to be an obtrusive person. Is my main goal. I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be the negative stereotype that a lot of travellers get, which is that you turn up, you leave loads of rubbish, and then annoy everybody. Which hopefully is not going to be me. I want to be untraceable, ideally. I don't want to bother anyone. I'm not like that. What else? I don't really know what else there is to talk about. I'm going to be living entirely out of the bag. I don't drive. I don't have a vehicle. I might end up getting a motorbike in the time between now and the end, but I've no urgent need for it. To be honest, I like walking. I don't really like the roads. There's a lot of opportunity to get very hurt on the roads, and I know a couple of people who've died on them, and I'm not. I'm not. Maybe I am scared, but I don't like driving. I don't like the entire thing. So I'm going to be getting around mostly by hoofing it, which I love. Love a good walk. If I get a bicycle, that'd be nice, but I'll have to cut down on weight. This is already a very low weight camp, which I'm very impressed with how much I managed to cut down. Um, Altogether, probably weighs about 40 kilo. That's probably a massive overstatement. Probably weighs a lot less than 40 kilo, but you get what I mean. With water, it'll be much heavier. Yeah, bicycle. I'm an avid cyclist, or I was anyway. Pardon me, so I'll be able to do a lot of that. Walking, which I've said. Coach travel, very cheap. Very, very cheap, and also quite a good place to sleep if I've had a bad night. Public transport in general. I'm in England. Public transport is shit, but mate, got to do what you got to do. And it's also a very easy way to get from one place to the other without having to find somewhere to park, which is my main thing. Where am I going to be? Right now I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future, possibly 2 weeks. The place where I was going to stay has inexplicably, I've been clearing it out because it's being taken away. So I'm not sure what my site manager really wants. I think he might have just agreed to it and then made it impossible, which is fine. I don't blame him. But yeah, I'm going to be staying at this site until it's unfeasible because the hours are good, the pay is good, the pay exists, and the work is easy, which is good. And obviously everybody needs money. After that, I will be in Bristol for a little bit for a job interview, probably only for a day or a weekend, because I don't like Bristol. Then I'll be going to Brighton, hopefully, to see some friends, possibly be there for a while, I don't know. Possibility of heading to Greece. Yes, Greece. To go and help with some construction over there, which I don't expect payment for, but, it's a giggle, innit? Go to Greece, lads. Then I'll be going back to my parents' house to go see them because I've not seen them in 6 months, which is quite a long time for me. Yeah, and then hopefully see some friends and end up in Yorkshire because I like Yorkshire. Might end up going to Scotland. I've only planned as far as Yorkshire, to be honest, because I need to see my girlfriend again and I do love her. This video might age poorly. But yeah, I'll be up north soon enough because the pay up there is fantastic. It's much better than getting here, and that's the main thing. I want money efficiency. It's one of the main reasons of doing this is to save money. I am willingly homeless. Okay, everybody wondering whether I'm okay or not. I'm perfectly fine. I've been wanting to do this in a permanent basis for years now, and it's only just come up that I've had the opportunity to. So yeah. It's a week out from go time. Nearly 6 years in the making is this. Other failed attempts have obviously failed. Anything else to talk about? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know how to use YouTube. I don't know how to edit videos. I don't know how to talk on camera. But I'm going to do my best. What I'm hopefully going to be doing with the format of these is every Sunday, hopefully, when I've got internet, I'll have to upload. I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll see. Every Sunday, hopefully, I'll be taking one of these because that's the day I'll reliably have off from work. I'm going to tell you about what the week was like, tell you about where I've been staying, tell you about what I've been eating and how I feel. Yeah, people just generally want to live a bit vicariously, and I don't blame them. A lot of the people asking for this have kids or partners or people that need them, and I luckily only have my girlfriend who is okay with me doing this, so let them live vicariously through me. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Quite happy with that. What else? Leave no trace. I'm an eco-warrior, so it's going to be a lot of no plastic waste, basically. I don't intend on using those hexamine tablets unless I absolutely have to. Yeah, exciting. Let me know what you think. If you have any tips for editing on an Android phone or later on an iPad mini when I eventually get that fixed, please let me know. If you have any tips for format, maybe, that'd be good, because it's just me rambling. It's always just me rambling. Yeah, I'll see you out there.